Hello and welcome to episode 5 of BassPush Interviews in conjunction with the WebMag, an online magazine based in Bristol covering everything underground. And today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine. We used to ruin the dance floor many a time, and I'm very pleased to have him on. This is going to be a bit of a jokes episode. We are just going to chat shit and listen to some tunes, and we'll see, we're going to reminisce a little bit, and we're going to see how it goes. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Samphet. How are we, my friend?
All good, brother. You good?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. A little bit tired today, but we move. What have you been up to?
Not much. Pretty much the same as I was just saying a minute ago.
Yeah.
Just been all day today. It's been I've been working through lockdown. Like, yeah, it's same business as usual, really.
Yeah. So with that in mind, how's lockdown affected you, like both personal life and obviously your music and things like that?
Go with music first.
Yeah, we'll go music first.
Really good. Because obviously I've had time to hone all my creative flow, and I've had a lot of new time to adapt to a new door, which is Ableton, which I haven't been on for that long in the whole scale of things.
Yeah, because you were on Logic for a few years, weren't you?
I was on Reason.
That's it, Reason there.
I forget how long. A long time.
I think the only person I know that's still left on that is good old Tobin.
I know a lot of the Off Me Nut. I don't actually know if they still do, to be fair. I know a lot of the Off Me Nut lot were rewiring like the latest version of Reason.
Yeah.
I know Stenchman still uses Reason. That's someone you should try and interview, actually. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely worth reaching out to.
I'm pretty sure he still uses Reason. It depends what you're familiar with, really, because at the time, on Reason, you get all your amp racks and stuff, then you flip it around and you've got to route it all manually, like. Which is know my way around. I know my way around things better that way, but then I don't know. I've learned Ableton now and sort of like enlightenment.
Yeah, I feel like that's what put me off Reason. Was the whole back rack and all that kind of stuff. Like, unless you know like what you're doing with it, I found it was really hard to get into. So when you were getting into that, was it something that like interested you? The whole like wiring of synths and all this kind of stuff.
I already had previous background, didn't I? Because of my old man.
Yeah, of course.
I was like Barry.
Big up, Daddy Samphet.
Always, he's a rude guy. He used to DJ in the 80s and stuff. I wish I had his picture here. Don't think I've got it anywhere. Another time.
Yeah.
He's on his like full setup. You can imagine, because I've had a dad like that. Like, he's always had like mental sound systems in the front room, sort of thing. And it's just like, I've just always known how to do things that way. Is what I was saying a minute ago. Like, I was more comfortable setting like compressors up and stuff that way because it was just easier for me. Like, it was
almost like second nature to you, I guess.
Yeah, I've been around it like since as long as I can remember. Like, always been around banged equipment, amps, like actual amps, like Marshall amps and stuff.
Yeah,
like roots knowledge of stuff. It all sort of just stems from that.
Yeah, like, of course, man.
I used to love that. I used to love being around them lot when they were like, because he was in a blues band as well. It's like, I used to love that.
That's dope, man. So when did you make the step over to Ableton?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
And do you think that's like improved your work process and the workload?
Yeah. 100%.
Sick,
man. Made things a lot. I was going to say it made things a lot easier. It didn't. It made a few things a lot simpler, but no, it definitely helped. Yeah. 100%.
So you mentioned there that your dad was in a blues band, and in case nobody is aware of like the music that you do, I think it's really clear to anyone listening to it that you do have that kind of influence from like real, what I would deem real music. So do you want to talk a little bit about like your inspirations when it comes to music as a whole?
We can do. There's a lot of them. This is always the problem. I mean, I can throw things out there that have like given me ideas and stuff, like I don't know. Freddie Robinson was a good shout, but then I got that from a Brother Ali track. But again, I had heard River's Invitation, like Brother Ali, Uncle Sam, goddamn. I don't know. You might have to blank that out. I don't know if that's a rude word or not.
No, we're no holds barred, my friend.
They blank it out on some of the versions of the track, so I don't know. But yeah, River's Invitation by Freddie Robinson. I turned that into a beat. Yeah, I don't know. Again, blues is one of the things that's always been there. There's too many to start reeling off. Like Gary Moore, for example, is like one of the main ones.
Over the hills and far away. Sorry.
Wow, enough of the blues. Like Eric Clapton, that's another. JJ Cale. I've done stuff with cocaine. The track Cocaine by JJ Cale. I've done stuff with that.
So do you think the blues is like your main inspiration when it comes to writing music?
Nothing's my main inspiration.
Fair.
This is the best, because I've tried to like answer this question for years, and there's no real answer with me. It's just like
whatever takes your fancy at the time.
Someone might shut their car door in a weird way that will make their key like clang in it, and they'll be like, "Cling," not be like, "Mate, that's snare. That's a stick snare."
Yeah. Well, it's like you boys were saying the other night that like you'd be playing games or whatever, and then like you're like, oh, there's definitely a track there somewhere. Like, do you think you've like do you think that because of those influences that your music has kind of gone down the route that it has, or do you feel like obviously like the cultural influences of like free parties have obviously taken it down like the dance music route, but do you think that like that mixed with your musical inspirations has like kind of fused to create Samphet?
Yeah, video games in particular play a big inspiration, but not just that, movies as well. It's like the trifecta of what makes my music is like film, like being out and about in it, and video games. But in essence, aren't video games just essentially like a film?
That's
in from a more immersive point of view.
Totally agree with that.
Often one in the same. Like one of my biggest inspirations in my life ever was the original Blade Runner.
Okay.
And that still to this day, like, phenomenal film. Like the soundtrack is just out of this world.
Yeah.
Combine the two, like combine the music and the cinematography, and it's like that's just, you know, that just gets my creative juices going.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think that's
else, like,
do you think that's something that you might like venture into in the future, is like more like visual sides to your music, so like more music video type things where potentially like, you know, you do maybe some animation or anything like that?
I really want to. I've always wanted to. It's just I don't have the know-how with video editing. I get really good ideas. I've tried to with a few people before. Obviously, although I don't want to touch on it too much, but with the graffiti and stuff, we tried to like, a few of us tried to like sort of make our own thing before.
Yeah.
Different from Back Your Mouth and stuff. Like we would try to do our own little bit, but it's tricky, isn't it? You need people with the right know-how.
That's it.
Because Ali does a lot of that, and like sort of on the same wavelength, you know. I would love to do it. I mean, we were saying in the stream the other night, I would love to combine both someone playing a set with someone playing an online game in like one stream. That'd be amazing. Like that'd be well. Just have them like taking turns, like playing and mixing, like back to back on each.
Yeah, because again, we did touch on it briefly the other day, but when it comes to like live streams and stuff like that, especially when you're just playing music, I think people have a tendency to just like leave it on in the background or just like not even look at it at all. So I think having that kind of visual side to it could really help it like highlight the music.
Yeah.
It
gives it a bit more persona, you know, like
a bit absolutely more, a bit more character.
It's more immersive, isn't it? I guess like you're giving people two things they like at once.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So should we delve a little bit further back and let's talk about your first experiences with the Southwest party scene? Because I feel like that is where Samphet was truly born.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the shadows and then made my way down here, didn't I? And I found my way up to Fernworthy Reservoir. Rest in peace, Joel Andrews.
Yeah, rest in peace.
That was it. That party. I cannot for the life of me remember. It's either 2010 or 2012. We were 1,200 strong up there. That was my first. That was my first Southwest experience. Can you imagine that?
Oh God!
I've been to a few before that. I've been to a few up in Oxford Ridgeway and stuff before. I've been to one in a car park before. That was weird. But these were more like they were like sketchy as fuck, man. Like, yeah. And then I got down to I don't want to go into that at all because that's just dark. Like nothing like that first time I went up Fernworthy. Pretty sure it was 2010.
Yeah, I think it was, to be fair. Because I'd been in
insight into how it. I'll give you an insight into how it sort of went. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Carry on, man.
So before any party I'd been to before that, it was like Novas all blacked out and like Vauxhall Cavaliers and stuff, all like rude boys and stuff, yeah. And like, mate, I got to we were literally waiting to get up into Fernworthy Reservoir. There was a queue of like hundreds of people. All you could see was like brake lights and stuff. Some matey comes down and it's like, look, you've all got to like move to the side. There's a massive truck coming down. And I swear to you, it was an ex-military truck. Like it was a big boy. Those tyres were the same size as me. And like he was right in front of us when the sun came up.
That's mad.
Mad, mate. Like I've never seen like that at a party before. And that was like my introduction to Southwest parties was like, there's a ton of people. There's a matey riding around on a pit bike, and look, there's a military vehicle with like a living room in the back. Like, what?
Yeah. And then
here's 12 rigs. Have some fun.
Yeah. Do you remember what sound systems were there?
Digger, Dave, and Decoy were definitely there.
God, Decoy. That's an old one.
Triple D sound system. Big up Digger, Dave, and Decoy.
Yeah, you know, man.
Chaotic were there. Rig Smith, I'm pretty sure, were there.
Well, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Rig Smith. Jesus.
I'm pretty sure Irritant were there.
So pretty much
all the usual suspects, basically.
Yeah.
One big fucking boy.
And so
my longest boy ever.
Yeah, right. And so were you producing already at that time? You were. So
long before that.
Did you find that, you know, when you started going to free parties and stuff, that your like creative output like increased?
No, not parties. No. There's like two sides to my life, isn't there?
Yeah, of course, man.
There's like the here life, and then there's like the then life, which I can't like talk loads about.
Yeah, that's it.
But like, it's all about your environment.
Yeah, of course, man.
And I guess you can take that as like a learning curve for anyone. Like, it's literally all about your environment. I know loads of people say it, but like, I took myself away from an estate and like literally put myself in the middle of nowhere. I locked myself in a room with what I love for long enough, and like it did pay off. Like,
yeah.
And
So
it literally did save my life. Like now, that's this side of life, what the here life. Like,
yeah, that's it, man. Well, so from there, how quickly did you like start really pushing your like electronic music?
as soon as I could.
As soon as you could,
Like
because
literally,
if I
like
remember
the minute
correctly, this would have been just before SoundCloud came about, really, wasn't it?
it was like literally, I must have been one of the first people on there, man. I've been on there for like what, for like 12 years, longer than that.
Yeah, I looked the
But
other day. I've been on there since 2011.
yeah, so I was literally like,
Mm.
not long after I moved to Devon, I found out about it. And I got my stuff straight on there. And it was like the minute I met people in Ottery, I was literally going into Exeter on Saturdays with CDs that I'd burnt off, like tracks listed on them.
Mm.
Just walking around and smoking a joint, just literally handing CDs to people, just like you just spot someone, sort of you can see it in people, kind of just
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Real
like yeah,
promotion. Real promotion, that is.
that was like how I really started doing it. Like,
Mm.
and then I met Maxi P and everyone in Reform Records when I was buying vinyl from them lot, and started like trying to get into the rinse out nights, but they never sort of let me in. It was pretty savage, but I was young, and they could sort of
Yeah.
see I was a bit like, sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
be like half road man, like.
So for those people listening that don't understand what SoundCloud was back then, because it has changed an awful lot. Do you want to just give a quick run through as to like the good points of SoundCloud back then? Because for me, SoundCloud was so much better back then.
Mm-hmm. The stream in particular was a lot more organic.
Mm.
It was a hell of a lot more organic. So like,
Yeah,
you weren't getting fed anything you weren't interested in.
yeah, that's
Whereas like,
it.
like loads of stuff sort of being spammed on there, although not all of it's crap, albeit like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, there was a lot more communication as well back in the day. Collabs
yeah,
were a lot easier to get involved with, whereas like nowadays people barely read their messages on there. And I think a lot of a part of that is because it got saturated with all the spam shit.
yeah. I mean, I
Where it
still,
was like,
I
should
did
not be
this.
allowing that. Like that's fucking like with shit, big
Yeah,
time. I think if they're
like
leaving comments
even
and
to
stuff, that's not cool.
even to this day, I still get messages like, "Oh, I'd love to promote your track." Well, then promote it.
Yeah,
Don't try and get me to pay for it. Like, if you love my
it's
track,
not
promote
it's
it.
not
Like,
someone actually writing that message to you, though, is it? It's
no, it's not.
literally
It's just
like
a bot.
someone that's written that message out like 500 times, like.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
And
So
that's what annoys me. It's like SoundCloud allow that, but you never used to get,
no,
if someone messaged you like that back in the day on there, it would be sincere and it'd be legit. Like,
yeah, of
it
course, man.
you'd actually take notice of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went through my old SoundCloud messages the other day, and I saw one from Tweaker that I must have missed. I must have missed. I hadn't even opened it, mate. He's talking about this was before this was before he took over, and
Yeah,
he was talking about like signing some artists and that. He was like, "Yeah, I'll get back to you when you reply." I was like, "Well, I could reply now, but it's like 10 years later."
we should, just to be
Yeah,
safe, just be
yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah, let's do it, man. So, should we touch on that briefly? The
what
the the
FTP?
yeah, the birth of. Do you know what? Whilst we might not have done very much with it, I feel like the us starting that did spawn a lot of new producers to come through.
Yeah, I think we made it a lot more accessible
Yeah, I think so as well. We might
without
have.
saturating it, which was like the key. Like,
Yeah, yeah, of course, man. I mean, when me and you started it and kind of were doing bits with it, we mainly just did compilations, didn't we? I think we released
yeah, to
your.
begin with,
I
a
think
few of us. Go on.
like I just want to shout out Ardennes. That's a name that jumps out.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to just talk a little bit about like how that was came about, and you know, where you think that that's pushed you like since then?
It's all Digger's fault.
Yeah, because they started digging it, and I think me and you were just sat there like, yeah, we need to do something.
It started with you, mate.
Brilliant. So
Oh,
but no, they were
Sunday.
but they were really good days. And I mean, just thinking about some of the artists who we did like put a bit of a spotlight on, people like Chesh, people like Tweaker, who
Look at Chesh now, mate. Look at Chesh now. He got well known.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. It's really good to see. And
Tweaker's doing stuff with people in Spain.
yeah, I mean, so for those who don't know, Tweaker is the co-owner of Stomp and Wonk, along with Twisted, and they've done some incredible stuff with that label. They really have
elevated it to
fully
new levels, man. Like, honestly,
yeah. I feel like they've definitely done a real good service to what I would still call my baby to a certain degree, because me and you did put a lot of hours into it. We might not have done very much with it, but we did put a lot of hours into finding new artists and stuff like that. It was a fairly decent foundation for them to move on with. But what was your kind of involvement from day one?
I don't know, just me being me back then, weren't it? And it was just like, I found it really easy to mingle with people and get people involved, even if they weren't making tunes or anything.
Yeah,
I could get people on board the hype train just really easily, just from me being me.
Yeah, I feel like you found a lot of artists, but you also helped push the overall presentation of it really well.
Well, that's, if you want to go into that, it's because I'm a perfectionist, and it's just like, I'm my own worst critic. And if it's like, even when I put things out nowadays, like, I still look back and it's like, people are loving it, and I'm still finding nooks and crannies in there that's like, nah, like, could have used some nail hole filler to fill that in, mate.
Yeah. So moving on from there, you then moved on to start NKS, but you've also been doing your own solo projects the whole time.
Oh shit, don't say that. I didn't start NKS, please, if you're listening.
Okay, you were, how can we
NKS
put this?
Records was me and Fekye, not quite sober. That's oh man,
we don't have to touch on it, but what I'm trying to get at is that you used you progressed throughout. You never quite stopped doing something with like labels of some like description. Yeah, which I think is really cool. Is so now obviously you are running the Southwest Network, and I think you finally found something that I think suits you really well.
Well, a mixture of that and like years of learning.
Yeah, making mistakes. Yeah, years of learning and making mistakes in it.
Yeah, I mean, which is how I've gotten through my life thus far.
Yeah. But no, so with the Southwest Network, your main thing is keeping it's very community based, isn't it?
Really community based. I mean, everyone has like a little say in what happens. We never push anyone's ideas aside, which is one thing that I've learned you should never ever do. Ever.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's,
it all comes from, again, we were saying the other day, it all just comes from like a mutual love of just like, doing what you really want to do. That's how like some of those boys that we've released, like making that really gritty, like old school jungle sort of sound. It's like really putting the effort in to make it sound like that. And it's that, putting that, it could be any sort of music, but that bit of effort that you're putting in to make it sound exactly how you want it to.
Yeah, and you can feel the passion as well.
This is how you do it. Like, this is how you translate it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
putting those bits of effort in where it needs to be done. Like, yeah, and we all just collide together with it. Like, the group chat's mad. Like, there's just always like little clips going up in there, and just people, even if we're just vibing and mingling, and then it's because they're all from all over the UK. Yeah, it just had, it is just like one big community thing, but at the same time we're getting releases out, and it's like loads of people getting on board.
Yeah, I had Pandy on this morning, and you've had him on the label. Are there any
keep trying? We're trying desperately.
You did get one track off him on Locomotive.
I think we got one track off it, and we've got one mix so far, and we are trying desperately to get him to do an EP.
Yeah,
he will do. He keeps saying he's going to. He's like me with it a little bit. Like,
he is. Yeah, he reminded me quite a bit of you, to be honest with you. But
happens sort of thing.
But so, are there any like artists that you like? Let's move away from the label for a second. Are there any artists that you'd like to work with personally and do like maybe a track with, maybe do an EP with, or anything like that?
I am DDB. If you're watching this, you liked my tweet the other day, and I sent you a beat, so get working on that. Honestly, big hacker.
Do you know what? I got a funny story about that, but I don't think we can talk about it here. I'll talk about it afterwards. Let's just say it involves Buckers. Let's just say that.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with him again. No lie. I'd love to work with him again.
Yeah. Because
he's a little maniac with his bars. Are you interviewing him?
It's definitely something on the cards.
Because he's a maniac with the bars, man. I don't know how he does what he does. Like, but he's got.
I will say that I will say the main problem with him is that he hasn't really got anything out. He's got a whole back catalogue of bars, but he hasn't really got anything down and recorded. So it's difficult. It's difficult for me to get him on and talk about music.
He gets stepped on a lot, man. That's the problem. But then again, that's a large problem with trying to do music in that town.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I did put him in touch with.
The record, I'm talking about Exeter. You better be listening, bitch.
So, I mean, I did put him in touch with like the One Lion crew, but again, he's just quite quiet, and he's like. So it is easy for him to get pushed aside in such like a rowdy group.
But then again, this is what I mean. This is what I've been spending. I feel like I've been spending years doing this with people. You find people like him,
and you want
to push and push and push. And the thing, you get to points where you're like, I can't be bothered, and you get to points where it's like it's never going to change, and you're like, you've got to be like, no, you got to keep going. Like, you got to keep pushing people to do it.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much our relationship for quite a few years, wasn't it? Really?
Well, we didn't have to worry about it because we just bounced up. We were out with each other every weekend.
That's it.
Field somewhere like that. We would just bounce like boom, boom, boom. Like you see, like something's changed in the last few years. Where it's like I swear, like people don't have that anymore. Like you have it. Like, because we still got it, like obviously, like because it's always there now.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I swear that like sort of essence has been lost.
I think so.
You really
as well.
need that, like progressive music, like not only like in the mainstream or whatever, but like with yourself. Like you do need that with people. Like
I totally agree, man.
I'll take you to like one of my favorite routes of like one of my favorite music, which is dubstep, and the Croydon massive, basically. Look at how big dubstep got, and look at the community of Croydon and how they were just constantly pushing each other. It's one of the sickest things that ever lived, mate. Like,
yeah, I tell you, on that subject, I've got a really good dubstep EP that I got sent to review last week, and it's now live on www.thewubmag.com, and it's a guy from Leeds called Monk. Mungk. He's just released an EP. Go and check out the review on the website. But I'll send that to you afterwards, Sammy. You'll be all over that.
Yeah, get on. I'll have a listen to that.
So obviously dubstep. Would you say that's your first love in electronic dance music?
No.
No. What would you say is then?
Frank Zappa. Thank you, Dad.
What, in electronic dance music?
Well, dance music. No, when we're doing dance music, no, drum and bass would be like the first like sort of dance music sort of electronic. Sorry, I thought you just said electronic. My bad. No, dance music is definitely drum and bass. Sorry, forget that. Thank you, Daniel, my brother, because it's literally all his fault for that. Because oh god, he's 11 years older than me. He's like 40, nearly 40. So he was like raving a long time before I was. I was sort of born, and he was already like getting into it, sort of thing. All I can remember from that is just like pictures of like flyers he had in his like wardrobe, like MC Fearless and like Ray Keith. There's like all these names, and I used to like think, like, oh, who these are? Like, you search them up on the internet. Used to find that mix with like Shy FX, Skibbity, and Fearless that were on like radio in Canada.
Yeah,
so one of my influences was that radio set, which had Matt Swift's Second Sight on it.
Jeez.
Like such a stonking tune. Like Mampy Swift's one of my biggest inspirations with dance music. Always just decided that it'd just be like, nah, like screw the normal formation. Here's a 4-4. Like just sod it. Like we're just gonna go. Like I used to love that Dillinger.
Yeah.
I used to love Dillinger and how he would just be like, you know, I don't care. Like
he just goes against the grain, doesn't he?
Like over distort it all, like sod it, and still made it sound good.
Yeah. So in terms of your like really early inspirations, you mentioned there like Ray Keith, MC Fearless. Are there any other names that really stick out that really like, you know, sent you down this path?
Rob Playford. I would not be doing half the music I do without Rob Playford. So thank you, Rob Playford, if you're watching this. If you don't know, that's the guy that basically created Moving Shadow. It's DJ Time, I believe, which did he all. This ties back into what you were saying earlier. You'll love this because they did all the Moving Shadow stuff on Grand Theft Auto 3, didn't they?
Oh god, yeah. Jesus.
Which again is huge. That radio station. Big up MSX FM because that's a huge inspiration for me.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, you'd be playing games when you're younger, and then having all that music around you whilst you're already like absorbing all this different types of media.
Don't get me wrong, I already had loads of different music around me at that point, like loads of different reggae and disco and blues, like all the and country, like all the stuff my parents were playing, R&B and all this stuff that my sister was playing. And like the thing is though, MSX FM, right? At First Contact by Omni Trio, that's like the intro track.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, I'd never heard anything like that before. Like the sights and the sounds, it was like I'd never heard any tunes like that in my life. And it was like I was just hooked on it straight away, just like I like this music. And it was like I spent years of my childhood being the only person that liked drum and bass. Like, everyone around me was all into like hip hop and like R&B and like you know like state shit. Like and I was like literally like scattered, like
raving away.
Like, let's go.
So I was looking through some of the old vinyls. You know, the ones that I let you have for a while.
Yeah.
I found some old Ray Keith. Found some old Omni Trio. Yeah, mate, I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait to get out to parties. I might try and do a vinyl set, you know.
I got a whole type tweaker. I passed all my passed all my vinyl down to Tweaker. He's got all of it.
When obviously we are allowed to go back, obviously it would be good to see Samphet out and again. Is like, do you think you're going to stay digital, or do you think there's movement there for a little bit of like vinyl here and there?
Oh man, there ain't a day goes by that I don't want to get back into me vinyl. But it's not going to be
anytime soon.
How I've always done vinyl is never always wanted to be a beat juggler, man. Like that'd be sick.
I saw a video the other day of a guy who I'll have to dig out the video for you, but he was doing beat juggling in the middle of a set, and like obviously shout outs DJ Qbert for inventing it, but I was there like, man, this is actually better than DJ Qbert. Like it's like, can you imagine doing something better than the person that invented it?
I would argue that Grand Mixer DXT invented scratching, but
No, not scratching. I mean,
level,
I mean,
so
like scratch drumming.
I'm being a purist there. I apologize.
No, I was saying scratch drumming. You know, like
When it comes to
making a
like
drum beat
that,
out when making a drum beat out with scratching. Qbert was
this is
definitely
what
the
I
first to
mean.
do that.
Like, imagine there's one guy that's out there on YouTube called DJ Kel Tech. Definitely check this guy out. This is from when I was just a lad, as like still in school and that. But he's a juggling master. He did something with an exhibit beat and the Flash Gordon theme.
Yeah,
it's insane. Yeah, you'd have to just check that out if you ever get a chance. Everyone, you, Chris, everyone.
Yeah. So let's just talk about like some of your favorite gigs and stuff like that. So first of all, one of the there's two sets that really stick out. The one at the JFB night, and that was as much because we both got to watch JFB.
Yeah.
And the other one was at it was the SWB it was in Exeter, that one. I can't think of it. It was I think it was at Rumors or something like that. And we had upstairs and downstairs. We had Benny Wills, and then you had like Sub Index and that upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a great night for me personally, but musically it was a brilliant night.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. A lot of our nights where we'd go and play, musically it was banging, but I swear it would always turn into like such a mess.
I smashed up my hand that night. I don't know if you can see it properly, but I smashed up all that knuckle that night.
I swear.
Good,
I swear.
This is that, my friends.
Yeah, I swear. Like club nights out were never our forte, were they?
Nah, Exeter is not our forte.
Yeah, right.
Just too rowdy, mate. Like it's Wild West, man. Like
it is, isn't it? So we were coming.
Untamable.
So when we were coming through, obviously you had people like Digger, you had people like General Riggery holding it down, and then
big up Riggery.
And then all of a sudden, we had that 6-week stretch where it was Tsunami every weekend for 6 weeks straight on the same spot. Should we just run through how mental that was?
How mental, but for me, it was the transition into the next stage. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
The parties down here now they're not the same.
They don't have the same vibe. They've definitely got bigger, but I don't know I don't think they've got the same vibe as they used to.
People have realised that it's lawless.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't really be saying it because then more people realise it. But one of the last ones I went to, because I haven't been to one for a while now, and this is kind of the reason why, is because I saw someone get bottled in their neck.
Ooh, savage.
Yeah. Literally just like I hadn't seen that since I was like 16 years old, mate. I'd had all that time, where it had been like nothing like that.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, like a couple of years ago, boom, I'm round, and it's like, what? Why has that just happened? And it's just like, no, party didn't stop or anything. I'm not going to start naming stuff. Like,
yeah.
Well, no, they know what happened there because that's really obvious what I'm talking about. But
yeah,
one stopped the party. No one like cleared anything. Like what?
Yeah, and
me, mate. But like, I feel I'm not saying that Tsunami or anything like that because they're not at all. But I feel that like that 6 weeks was like the transition into like the new like era of it.
Yeah, because before that it was almost like very like not like family friendly, but like it was like more family orientated, if you know what I mean. And what I mean by that is,
Say family friendly because I'm not going to name him again, but a guy we both know and love very much brought his family to a digger party one evening. Do you remember?
oh my God, I do.
And I want to big up that guy, but I don't want to say it because of that.
Yeah,
but like,
right.
I know if he watches this, I'll get him to watch it. I love you, man. Like,
Yeah, right.
his family to the party that night. You could almost say at one point we actually were family friendly.
Yeah. But what I meant,
Depending on the family.
but what I meant by family orientated is there was like a family feel to
100%.
like how like parties were back then, like Rig on the Hill. I remember going to parties there, and it was just like such nice vibes. You know what I mean? Like,
Big up Sam as well, man.
yeah,
He
big up
taught
more,
me
man.
a lot. Taught me a hell of a lot. Like I used to love sitting there chatting with him. He'd chat technicalities with you for hours and hours.
And he's done bits over the last few years. I'm definitely going to try and get him on. That'd
You
be a good
should.
one.
He's good to pick his brain. He's quite knowledgeable, to say the least.
So
yeah, he got a hell of a lot better than I do.
Let's talk about some of your like favorite gigs and things like that. Like, have you got any that really stand out to you as like ones that like really went off, or ones that you just generally really enjoyed?
Gigs that I've played or witnessed.
Either or both.
It'd have to be my first. One of them. It's got to be my first ever set. Yeah. I was like 14, and it was like an under-16s club night. And I took my drum and bass vinyl. I had like the Origin Unknown remix of Stand Clear by Adam F and MOP, and like those Jump Up, like New Generation by Clips, and Bandwagon Poos by John B.
Jeez, the early days of Jump Up. Wow.
There's only like 20 people there, but mate, I was only like 14. I was
yeah, right.
So I couldn't even stand up. My knees were gone.
Like, so right? favorite gigs that you've witnessed?
Oh man. Yeah, it's got to be in it. Yeah, Chopstick, Lions Den.
Yeah.
Boomtown 2012, I think.
Oh wow.
When they premiered Worldwide Traveller with Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was down there doing my thing in a dress.
I think that was our first festival, mate. Like that we both went to.
I can't even remember. I did like there's a good 4 years there where it was like Boomtown every summer, and they've all seemed to merged into one.
Yeah, right.
I've really underestimated. That's like 8 years.
Yeah. So yeah, so let's talk about.
I touched on one of my other gigs because one of them was Boomtown at the Job Centre.
Yeah, please do, man.
That was an SWB thing.
Oh yeah.
That was me, Sam, me, Tweaker, Jay, and Joe.
What, Chesh?
No, Pluggers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Played in the Job Centre. I think that was 2016.
Nice.
That was a set and a half.
Yeah,
got to unload loads of my own stuff onto a load of unwilling victims.
So let's just bring it a little bit more up to the present day. And do you remember the last gig that you played before all of this happened?
I think. Yeah, I think I played Crash Manor, which I think is now shut in Plymouth.
I don't think it's. This came up with Pandy, and I don't think it's shut just yet, but it is closing.
It's going right. Yeah. Sound. I knew it was uncertain at least, but I'm pretty sure I managed to sneak in there before that's all gone under. Then I need Jamie Lee here because she'd be able to tell you. Oh man, 2019, I think.
Yeah, it's been a little while then.
It has been a little while, but I haven't put as much effort at all into getting the sets in. Like nowhere near much effort. I've been putting loads more effort into networking for the network.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, me and you used to do back-to-back sets all the time.
Yeah.
Are there any other people that you used to like that you back-to-back with, like in the last few years, that you can really think of?
Tweaker,
Tweaker.
100%. Me and him have the same thing going. Like,
Yeah.
who else? Charlie Richards, you goddamn son of a church. Big up Charlie Richards and big up all
Mr.
my cricket massive.
Shout
Big
out,
up Mike and Devon.
shout outs, Mr. Chaplin, every time.
He's one of these guys. It was like I gave him a copy of Reason and stuff. Yeah, man, he needs to get back on it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
He can slam a fat mix. Like literally, you just give him a load of tunes and it would just be like, no worries, mate. Hold my tequila.
I remember having quite a few fidget mixes with him back in the day.
Round up at his,
Yeah,
up at where he used to go around his mum's and that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
only on the corner, didn't I? I used to literally walk up there all the time. Like,
Those were some mad days. Got to be honest.
the Croydon dubstep thing, we kind of had that going on, man. Like
To a degree,
literally, I'd
yeah.
just walk up the road, man, and I'll be at Charlie's, and then like people would come from down the hill and be like,
well, yeah, just in that immediate scene there, you had obviously Charlie, yourself, Chappie, Super Smash Bros. Like there were so many heads from around that area.
Shortston.
Yeah. Oh God, let's not forget Jordan. Cannot forget Jordan. That guy puts together a hell of a set. Also, Jay.
Yeah, because he's gone quite far. But it goes without saying, I got a big shout out to Muzzy and Mo, like because they've done massive amounts. They've done massive amounts. Like big shout out to them too, man. Like, no, that community vibe goes a long way. Like, look at how much all of them lot have prospered, man. Like,
that's it. Yeah, they've all pushed each other, haven't they? So.
And they've all gone on to do quite well. Like they're all like well known now. Like,
yeah, that's it. So in terms of stuff that you like personally want to do with your music, like moving forward, are there any particular like milestones or goals that you've like set yourself?
I want to be an R&B producer eventually.
R&B producer?
Yeah, eventually. Like, get into some like real stuff. I have a studio that's got like real instruments dotted about. I mean, I'm halfway there. I don't know if you can see, but if I just twist and turn a little bit, I've got my guitars in the corner there, man.
Nice.
Like, got my keyboard down here.
Nice.
I got things ready to go. I got a harmonica over Tiddly there somewhere.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
That's the end game goal. So I'm just trying to fill time with different ideas that I have in between then and now. Like, but I've only just recently figured that out. Like beforehand, when we're talking about like in 2012 and that, mate, if I'm really honest with you, I had no idea what I was doing, what my goals, but that's what made it half of what it was. It was just like
just having a bit of fun, wasn't it?
Like quite literally.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't describe it any other way. It's just like that was it. Like,
yeah, right.
What was what you got each day.
That's it, mate. That's it. So
now I've got a goal in sight, and that's the goal. Like, I want to get onto some real stuff, smooth stuff. Like, I want to have people singing and like dropping bars and stuff, and because I can't do any of that stuff myself, and I'd love to. Like, I'd really love to be able to like bust out a vocal melody or whatever, but like, I ain't got the voice for it, mate.
So, have you managed to get permission from Levlar to have to talk a little bit about
that? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's just got to be under certain settings and stuff. Like, I'll have to talk to you about it. He wanted to use mod. I'll have to talk to you about it, though, because it's going to end up looking like Crime Watch or something. Oh, mate. Like,
no.
He's a funny guy. Trust me. Funny guy. Plymouth's finest. Most questioned.
So, should we run through some of these tracks that you've sent me?
Yeah, we can do. What one? Well, tell me what one you're gonna put on, and I'll give you a little backstory.
Absolutely, man.
They
Cool.
all the ones I've sent you actually mean something to me, like quite a bit. Like I remember and that.
We'll just start with Sound of the Underground and move forward.
Brilliant. Sound of the Underground was that's when I first moved. Well, not when I first moved actually. I was living in Ottery on Tip Hill, in a house share with like one of my good mates at the time, and yeah, this is basically a flip on a tune that's a flip of another tune by Girls Aloud. It's crazy. Yeah, everyone wanted me to do it. I literally just sat there one night with everyone in the room and did it. But like, I wouldn't have been able to do this tune without everyone sat there in the room vibing off each other like they were that night. Like there was so many different conversations going on. Like I had Arthur and Josh going on about some mad stuff like right behind me, like going on about time parallels or something like that. Like,
good on that.
Yeah, like you get the feeling just like loads of them sat in the smoky room, just like they're all just there like, right, Sammy's on it. Like we've given him the task. Let's see what happens. And I provided those goods, and they still rate to this day, as you'll see there, like 3,000 plays. That ain't bad.
Yeah, that's all right.
I haven't done any promo of that or anything. That's literally like my mates like loving that tune and just showing everyone that tune. I still get video clips of like when they're out and they've like put it on through like a mad sound system. It's like, nice one, guys. Means a lot.
Right, yeah. So this is Samphet, Sound of the Underground. It was released about 4 years ago. Solid, eh, man?
I've got to get some more. What's running in the wrong direction? I've got a feeling it's a mixed up sound. I can see it in my own reflection. Something fun is going on in town. I don't know what is pushing me higher. It's starting from the floor below, and then it drops and catches like fire. It's a sound it's a sound the beat of the drum goes from the ground to the overflow. But I can't get down to the sound of the beat. I'm on the electric night. The red light jumps in the bathroom light. The beat goes around and round. It's the sound of the underground.
Do you know what I really like about that? You haven't like added any obnoxious noises or anything like that. You've literally just taken it and like it feels like you've literally taken it and added the drums and the sub, and that's all it needed.
I gave it a little upgrade.
Yeah, love it, mate. Really good work. And considering that's 4 years ago.
I've always been on it, mate. From day, I come from the ends, don't I?
From day dot.
I come from multiple ends, yeah. Trust me, bruv. Right? I get fame, don't I? Like, I goes all sorts of ways. I goes up, I go down, bruv. Like,
and so we come to SWB 002. What is Baseline? This was the second EP that we released on SWB. And this is called Suck Your Mom.
wow,
Serious.
wow. Yeah. Are you playing it?
Not yet. Waiting for you to do it.
Like, go for it. Like, literally, this song is mad. Where did I get the sample from? I can't remember where I got the flute sample from, but why it's called Suck Your Mum, in brackets serious, is because of JME. He made a tune called Icy Tone, and I basically just sampled that. I'd wanted to sample that since I'd heard it like way back in the day.
Yeah.
And I tried, well, like I do with loads of stuff, I tried and tested a few times and it never worked. Then I went to a few Southwest parties, went to a few digger parties, didn't I? Got a bit iffy, and this is what happened. Like, yeah, like it finally transitioned into something, and it obviously paid off because literally everyone loved this tune. I still get people telling me today, like, this is a fatty, and it's like sounds. I can't. This is probably like 4 years. No, like it's probably like 6 years ago. This one
7. Well, 6.5-ish. I remember when you brought this out and we played that gig in Tiverton. What a shit show. Jesus. Cool.
Mate, I got kicked out. It's not me that got kicked out either. It was
yeah,
the person I was with that got kicked out. And because I was with them, I got kicked out in the process and basically got told to walk home.
Yeah.
Half an hour into the set.
Love it, mate. It's got almost like a rude boy stepper feel about it.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
Old school, sort of like 2006 bass line. Like, see, again, my brother was into all that. Like he like drifted off from like all like the rave and stuff and went into like garage and bass line.
Yeah.
That's where all this sort of like bass liney stuff sort of stems from. Question and answer. Ooh. I love this. This is like one of my favorites that I've ever done, and I really need to make a tune because there's like meaning behind the whole title as well, because how the track's like structured and stuff.
Right. Okay. So that's so for those of you who don't know, like, you know, phrases when it comes to music, question and answer is kind of like when so that the first phrase links in with the second phrase, if that makes any sense. So imagine like
call and response.
Sorry, yeah, call and response. Yeah, exactly that. Cool.
So you basically take that ideology with like this track, how it's structured, how like when it hits the drop, you'll see it's like the first synth is like saying something, the second synth is replying to it.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. Yeah.
This one's even older than the last one.
Wow, this is what I mean. This was in the heyday, my son.
Oh, do you know what, actually? That last one was probably way before 2014. That's just when Sam uploaded it.
No,
I think it's like 2013, 12 maybe.
Yeah. No, more like that actually, yeah.
Get your square waves in. Dope, man. You can tell the whole question and answer part of that.
Yeah.
Fully,
It
man.
becomes pretty obvious once it drops, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And so this is Smile.
This is my dedication to every ice cream man that's ever existed. Big up all the ice cream men in your vans, except for the noncy ones.
Can we just give a special shout out to this picture?
It's pretty
Mortifying.
Yeah, I just need to miss the tooth, like.
Yeah, right.
I love how he did them like slightly yellow. It was like he had it like bang on, like.
Yeah, right.
Mate, it's not like I can help it. I brush every day.
Good dental hygiene is important.
It is, but like sometimes it just does nothing.
Yeah. Suck your mum.
NHS give me gold teeth, yeah.
So, is Baseline going to make a comeback with Samphet?
Yeah, probably at some point. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
It's always on my mind, like that old song.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see why not. I've been trying to, but it's been getting a bit more garagey lately.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that.
In 4/4. But yeah, I don't see why not.
Awesome, man.
I wouldn't mind getting another like hour set together that was just like all my own bass line, but like fresh bass line that I've done on like Ableton. That'd be fat.
Yeah, right. Because I think that was something that really stood out with you back in the day. Most people were playing just like everyone else's tunes, but you were very much a Samphet soldier.
I had that old school influence from like 2004 to 2006, like before like grime and stuff, and like all the MCs were like gully and bass line, like.
Yeah, that's it.
It was like in gym or like the Birmingham stuff as well. So it was like, I had all that like early influence to like go off.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Ali and that all playing their stuff, and it was like tried to give it its little twist, like tried to give it a little road sort of twist.
Yeah,
like,
of course, man. Yours was always a lot deeper and darker, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's how I felt it should be.
Yeah.
Expresses the attitude of the environment, like. Yeah, man.
Right, so I think we might have to wrap up in a second, but I think there's definitely plenty of space for a part 2 of this.
Yeah, if you want, that's fine.
Well, I feel like if we don't wrap it up now, we will definitely be speaking for the next 2 hours. So
yeah, well, we'll go part 2 or whatever, whenever.
Yeah, man. Is there anything that you really want to get out now?
Buy my EP. You'd be helping a brother out. They're only £1.
Yeah. So that's on
all on the Southwest Network. There's only 2 of them, but while you're on there, go and grab yourself a load of free stuff from all my boys, mate, because there's a ton of stuff on there.
Yeah, man.
And if you feel generous, chuck them a few quid as well.
Mm-hmm. So is there any specific shout outs that you want to give out?
Big up Bill Withers, RIP. I couldn't have done this without you, brother. Who else are we doing? Big up Ray Keith and Dillinger. Big up you, Chris. Big up Ali and Hayes. Big up my dad. Big up my brother.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done it without either of them. Or
Yeah,
any
right.
of them.
Bless, man. Big ups to
Big
yourself
up
as well,
Oxford
man.
and big up Devon.
Nice. So then, guys, we're going to call it a day on this one. Thank you very much for coming on this journey with the both of us. And yeah, thank you very much, Sammy, for coming on.
Thank you.
That's quite all right, man. So this has been BassPush Interviews in conjunction with The Wub, an online magazine based in Bristol, covering everything underground. I have been BassPush. He's been Samphet.
Yo.
We wish you adieu.
Skip.
Peace.